Hello, thank you for attending this presentation today. My name is Ed Walter. I'm a senior consultant at Mac Financial, which is a part of the Mac Group. I'm here today to talk to you about a new pension being introduced which provides you with the benefits available under the new Pension Freedom Scheme rules. To start with, here's a quick reminder of who we are at Mac Group. The last paragraph on this slide is probably the most important and relevant to our current situation. Because of COVID-19 and being forced to work remotely, we've accelerated part of what we're doing here at Mac to support our clients. In terms of contacting us and also accessing the details to your pensions, investments and important documents, we've launched our personal finance portal. The portal is accessed through bank-level security, and you should have already received an invitation from us to register. But if you haven't yet, you should do soon, so please have a look out for it. This is the most secure way for us to connect and share information with you remotely. Like your existing pension, this is a personal pension with Aviva, and we at Mac are here to guide you through the process of transitioning to the new scheme and to make sure that you have all the details that you need. Aviva will give you the tools to work with, and at Mac, we will show you how to use them, as well as continue to give you advice around your contributions, investments, and any other pensions you may have, and of course, help you focus on your retirement planning. As part of our role, we've carried out a tremendous amount of due diligence and compared a number of pension providers on Ireland and have selected Aviva as the best option in the current market. This can be demonstrated using this slide. Aviva are a strong, reputable organisation with a AA- stable rating and a solvency ratio of 194%. This means that if Aviva today paid each client their money back, they would have a surplus capital amount of £11.8 billion. But even if the worst were to happen, up to 100% of the value of your pension is protected by the investor protection under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. Aviva have invested heavily into the platform technology that they're going to hold your pension fund on. And as I go through the presentation, I'll continue talking about the current platform and some exciting news about the future platform, and hopefully that will come through. But any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. So, what's the Pension Freedom Scheme, or PFS for short? Well, the PFS is the largest change to pension legislation on the Isle of Man for the last 30 years, and you'll now receive greater flexibility and more options for drawing your pension benefits than you've ever done before. Although the legislation was introduced in April 2018, it didn't actually receive royal assent until just prior to Christmas in 2019. Now, I'll refer to it throughout the presentation as a PFS, but from time to time, you might hear it referred to as a 61H. The changes will affect the way that you take your benefits when you come to retirement. The changes are more about the retirement phase rather than the current phase. The idea of these rules is to give individuals more flexibility in how to take their pension. The best way to demonstrate these changes is by showing you a short video.
Soon, you will be starting a new company pension. New rules, written by the Isle of Man government, known as the Pension Freedom Scheme, or PFS, will give you more freedom over how and when you take the money from your pension pot. You can take up to 40% as tax-free cash from your new company pension, rather than the 30 or 25% you may be familiar with from your existing one. After taking the tax-free cash, you can choose how much and how often you access the remaining funds. And previously, you had to start drawing your benefits by the time you were 75, but now there is no limit, and you can wait longer if you want to. All of these options will be available from your new pension once you turn 55. Your families are now protected a little more too. In previous legislation and your existing pension, there is a 7.5% tax on any remaining funds when you die after retirement. In your future pot, there is none. However, it must be paid out within 2 years. To be able to take advantage of these new options, your employer, together with Mac, have chosen a new pension scheme which is right for you. It's our job as your advisor to review all suitable providers and make a bespoke recommendation.
The proposal is for all future contributions to be paid to the new scheme. For us as practitioners, we can't see any detriment to accumulating benefits under the new rules. It's a far more tax efficient and flexible environment, And if you did want to start taking your benefits earlier than the PFS allows you to do so, there's nothing stopping you transferring them back into your 89 scheme and taking them from the age of 50 with no 10% government levy to pay. It's our intention to keep the transition of moving to a new PFS as automated and as seamless as possible, thus reducing the amount of paperwork required for you as an individual. To allow this, the scheme's going to be rolled out on an opt-out basis. Your employer has agreed a date with Aviva, and as you can see here on the left-hand side, your regular contributions and accumulated pension fund are sat within a plan under the 1989 rules on Aviva's current platform. In the first phase of the transition to the new platform, your regular contributions will automatically be redirected into your new PFS arrangement. You don't need to do anything at this stage unless you'd prefer not to take advantage of the new pension, but in this scenario, we'd suggest that you arrange a meeting with us. It's Aviva's intention to close the current platform where your funds are currently held. So for the next part of the process, Aviva have created a mirror scheme for you on the new platform under identical terms as your existing arrangement. This will enable you to see both your pension policies in parallel on a new platform. It's important to note that for this transfer of funds, there will be no 10% government tax on your pension fund. That would only apply to any funds being transferred from the 1989 regime to the new PFS regime. This second policy will not receive any regular contributions, but will continue to be invested as before. For anybody currently in lifestyling, this process will continue from the stage that you're currently in. Lifestyling is the process of moving your funds incrementally into investments that carry less risk as you approach the decumulation phase of your pension. One small thing to note, as there will be a movement of funds, there will be a rounding of percentage allocations during the transfer, but there will be no time out of the market. Secondly, if you're in the last 10 years of the lifestyling process, it will be a requirement to have a meeting with a MAC advisor so that they can explain how this may impact you going forward. Additionally, if you're invested in a with-profits fund or your pension has waiver of premium attached to it, it's recommended you have a meeting with an advisor so any changes can be explained fully. Going forward, your new contributions will be invested into a default fund selected for the scheme. This particular fund may not suit everybody. However, there's a wider range of default funds available to members depending on their chosen attitude to risk. We would encourage anybody who isn't happy or who isn't sure about the default fund chosen to get in touch with us so that we can have a conversation. The default fund is a lifestyle strategy referred to as My Future Focus. Your funds begin accumulating in the My Future Focus growth until you enter the last 10 years prior to retirement. At this point, Aviva will automatically start to move your funds into the My Future Focus Consolidation Fund, which carries less risk. The glide path on this slide illustrates how this works. Every year, 10% of your accumulated pension fund will be transferred into the lower risk investment on a monthly basis. It's important that your risk reduces the closer you get to retirement, as you'll wish to experience less volatility during this period of time. We'll discuss risk and volatility in more depth shortly. We recognize that this isn't a one-size-fits-all, so to help identify an individual's attitude to risk, MAC uses an independent risk analysis tool through a company called Financial Express, known as eValue. eValue provides results that vary according to your term to retirement. It identifies 5 levels of risk an individual can take, and using Financial Express's investment planner tool, it allows us to match funds to your identified attitude to risk. It's really important to revisit this regularly, so each time you receive a pension review, we'll ask you to complete the short questionnaire again. MAC has a range of default funds for most risk profiles measured by Financial Express. Whilst we've chosen default funds for risk ratings 1 to 4, for anybody identified as risk rating 5, ordinarily funds with higher risk tend to move away from diversification and become more specialist, naturally making it more difficult to choose a suitable default fund that would work for the majority. Of course, if anybody felt they wanted to move into a higher risk fund, we'd be very happy to have an individual conversation with you and give you some ideas on what your fund selection should look like. The important point, however, is that if you weren't happy or sure of the default fund, My Future Focus Growth, we would sit down with you to identify the risk rating that would be suitable for you and the associated default fund. As part of Aviva's investment into their PFS offering, you'll now have access to a much wider range of funds. This has been increased from 57 to approximately 230. They've also introduced a range of further external fund managers, as well as introducing property funds, which have never been available to Isle of Man pension investors directly before. There's an additional range of active and passive funds, where the manager makes changes to the funds on a regular basis, or may just monitor and follow a model. The ethical and sustainable fund range available through Lions Trust has also been extended from 5 funds to 13. So in summary, you've got a much wider range of fund choices. One point to note is that some of these funds do carry additional charges, so please watch out when changing. None of the default funds that have been chosen by MAC carry any of these additional charges though. If you decide that the scheme default fund is not for you, and you want to alter to one of MAC's identified default funds or something from your own selection, then let us know. We can share the necessary form with you. Aviva's processes are that all first fund switch must take place manually. Subsequent fund switches can take place through MyAviva Online or the MyAviva app. The only functionality that you don't have through the MyAviva app is the ability to transfer pensions or deposit single lump sums, but we're still here to help you with this. I hope that most of you are registered for the MyAviva portal, but for those who aren't, here's a short but very informative video about how you can use the app.
MyAviva is all about making life easier for employees. It's beautifully simple. Let's say you're a scheme member who's just activated MyAviva. What can you do? A quick, easy login to your account with fingerprint or facial ID on our new app, and you're in the perfect place to take control of your pension. Right away, you can see an up-to-date valuation of your pension, as easy as checking your bank account online. And just one click more is all it takes to view your policies. You can also monitor your pension's performance, and if you want to, you can switch the funds it's invested in. A few more clicks and the job's done. No maybes, and no waiting around for letters to arrive. You can even make one-off payments into your pension account. We'll be sure to let you know that you could get back less than has been paid in before you proceed. And if you have other pension pots worth under £30,000 with another provider, and you want to move them into your Aviva pension, you can do this on MyAviva. We know that transfers aren't right for everyone, so we'll tell you what you need to consider first and provide information about the potential benefits and risks. MyAviva makes it easier to think about the future too. You can access tools to get an idea of what your pension might be worth years from now, so you can see if you're on track. Need to do a bit of personal admin? A couple of clicks and you're ready to update details like your email address or let us know you're moving home. You can also add the name of your chosen beneficiary. No pen and ink, and no fuss. MyAviva also lets you access other Aviva policies you may have, such as car or home insurance, all together in one place. No need to start searching through drawers. So that's it. MyAviva is paperless, effortless, and completely secure. It's the easy way for your scheme members to stay in control of their pensions.
Shortly after this date, you're going to receive some documentation from Aviva. As it's a phased process from Aviva, as they start with redirecting your contributions, you'll receive your new PFS policy documents first, which will then be followed by the creation of your new 89 scheme on Aviva's new platform. Shortly after this point, you'll receive documentation for the new 89 scheme. It's important to note that these documents will go directly to your home address and not to your place of work. Although there's no time out of the market when your 89 funds transfer to the new 89 plan, there will be about a week where you may not be able to access your policy on the MyAviva app. So if you can't see it, don't worry. But if you have any concerns after a week and you can't see the plan, please do get in touch. It's really important that you check your policy documents. It's a good opportunity to make sure that all your personal details are correct, and we would encourage you to double-check the underlying funds to ensure that you understand your choices and that they correspond with what I've talked to you about today. If you think something isn't right, the sooner you can let us know, the better. There shouldn't be anything you need to do right now, except to make sure you've spoken to us if you have a with-profits investment or the waiver of premium facility attaching to your policy. If it's your intention to make any changes to your funds in the near future, before the transition happens and your plans get taken down online, I'd encourage you to do this as soon as possible. So this brings us to the end of the presentation, but just to summarize, there'll be an automatic redirection of all future contributions into a new pension scheme for you called the PFS. Shortly after this, there'll be a transfer of your accumulated funds from your existing 89 scheme to a mirror 89 policy on Aviva's brand new platform. If you don't want this to happen, or you're in any doubt or have any questions, please do get in touch. I can assure you that this is a change for the better, and there's no detriment to you in terms of your costs or the service that Mac will continue to provide you. It just means that when you come to retire, your benefits can be taken in a more tax efficient and a far more flexible manner for you as an individual. So we look forward to seeing anyone who would like an individual meeting. So please feel free to contact us either through the PFP portal, your HR team, or mail@macgroup.im. Thank you.